And with this afternoon is James Chung, Executive Managing Director and Managing Principal of West Region Retail. Hey James, how are you?
Good afternoon, Alana. How are you?
I'm doing well. We've got a very busy day 2 of deal making here at the Cushman & Wakefield booth. A lot of meetings taking place, a lot of clients, a lot of friendly faces, so all good here. How's your trip in Vegas been so far?
It's been fantastic. We've had a great day and a half so far. We call it the speed dating of real estate, but it's been incredibly productive. Lots of great energy and good mojo out there.
All right, I like to hear that. If you could choose one thing that you would see as being unique to this experience this year, apart from all the other ICSCs that you've attended in your career, what would that be?
I would say people are cautiously optimistic. I think everybody thematically have been talking about when the turn of the cycle will be. I know it's already started in certain ways in certain markets, but I think overall, lots of site plans out on tables, lots of tenants attending, lots of developers, lots of brokers making deals. So overall, I would say it's as good as any recon that I've seen.
All right, well, that's great to hear. So let's talk about the art of the deal. You've been around in your profession for a very long time. You're an expert in what you do. But with the changing retail landscape and things evolving on the retailer side, things evolving on the e-commerce side, retailers starting to look at their real estate completely different than they ever have before. What are you seeing now that it takes to get a deal done in this climate?
Absolutely, that's a great question. I think for depending on the tenant and the category is going to really dictate the profile and complexion of a transaction. What we are seeing is that people are, when I say people, tenants are really being mindful of their overall occupancy costs. So even though we structure everything triple net and we quote everything triple net and talk in triple net terms, we're seeing more of a gross occupancy approach to transactions. And so how we reverse engineer that is typically there will be a health ratio, which is a sales to occupancy ratio that people are very mindful of. So this is where operations and real estate collide a lot for the occupiers. And so things are being underwritten a little bit differently and a little bit more aggressively than we've seen in the past just because of the shifting tides. Having said that, the transaction itself is definitely changing. In the shopping center environment, we're seeing more participation, sometimes from landlords in order to call it partner with the tenants. We're seeing more percentage rent scenarios than I think we ever have, and percentage rent being typically over a natural break point. So what that means for those of you out in the world, it's in order to get the tenant in, and in turn, the landlord is accepting more risk because in the event that tenant does not perform, then ultimately he or she would not be getting that base rent.
Wow, well, I feel like I just got schooled in Broker 101. I mean, this is something that's new to me, especially being in marketing. So thank you for the that you can give us on those. Is there anything on the West Coast or in Northern California that specifically you'd call out?
Sure. Well, Northern California let's actually narrow that down a little bit further. The Bay Area has traditionally been in call it 2 to 6% vacancy rate range, particularly over the last call it 4 to 6 years. And despite that, even in some of the better shopping center environments, there are still situations where tenants need that help or that call it sharing of risk with a landlord. We would normally see percentage rent scenarios in malls, lifestyle centers, open air centers, but we are starting to see even more even in neighborhood shopping centers and even street front environments. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's an indication of the market going one way or the other, but simply that the complexion of the transaction is evolving, and it's a situation where the landlords and tenants are just becoming closer partners.
Well, great insights from you, James. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, and thank you all for tuning in, and check back throughout the day for some more live from Recon 2018. Thanks.